Hey guys, Kurt Wilson, Beats on Bites. On July 16th, 2022, we lost one of the greatest diving coaches of all time, Hobie Billingsly, at the ripe young age of 94. Hobie is a champion, a coach, a mentor, innovator, author, teacher, leader, trailblazer, a true legend. They say you should never meet your heroes. This is the exception. Hobie always had time to help you out, share his wisdom, and to help you feel that what you were doing, growing the next wave of champions and quality people, had value. He never stopped being a student himself, always looking for ways to improve himself and the sport. Hobie wrote 3 books, 2 on diving and 1 on his life and his journey. Hobie, along with Lyle Draves, were the first 2 American coaches to really embrace the laws of physics and apply it to the competitive sport of diving. For 30 years as the head coach for Indiana University, Hobie developed NCAA, national, international, and Olympic champions. One of his more recent successes, of course, was taking a high school wrestler and in 5 years, turning him into an Olympic champion. Hobie was a master storyteller. I had the great fortune of speaking with him a couple years back and felt that it was appropriate to share it this time. He touched a lot of lives, made a huge impact on the world, and he will be greatly missed.
Someone asked me not too long ago, what was your greatest contribution to diving? In fact, John Neighbor called up and wanted to know I made that contribution in developing the porta pit, we call it, this foam rubber landing, which is now used for gymnastics and track and whatnot. That wasn't the greatest thing I ever did in diving. My greatest thing happened when I was married, and I woke up in 1967 and grabbed my wife by the neck and started choking her, and she says, "What's wrong?" And I says, "I got a brilliant idea." She's, "What?" I says, we go to the Olympic Games and international contests. The coaches don't talk to each other because we're each other's enemies. We say hello, walk by, no conversation, no communication, just because you're the enemy, the only thing we do is we don't shoot each other, all right? I says, why can't we get all the coaches together in the world and become friends? Why don't we form an association where we can get together and exchange ideas and concepts of this sport and become friends and enjoy each other, so when we go to meets, we can shake hands and hug each other and learn from each other and have the sport grow. Why can't we do it? She says, "Oh, it can't be done." No, it can't be. I says, why? She said, the language barrier. I says, wait a minute, if you can speak 4 languages in this world, you can go anywhere in the world and you can talk to somebody that knows something in one of those 4 languages. And I talked to other people, no, it can't be done, couldn't be done. I did it anyway. So we went in 1967, they had a mock Olympic trials in Mexico City, because the Olympics was 1968 in Mexico. And they had a meeting at FINA, had a big meeting, and all the diving coaches showed up and everything, and I passed the sheet around and told them if, I went to the FINA first. I says, I'd like to talk to the diving people here for about 5 minutes, would you mind? If they knew what I was going to say, they'd throw me out of that place and never let me near the place. I get up and I says, I'd like to form a World Diving Coaches Association where we can gather all the coaches together and become friends. And we can help the sport grow by exchanging ideas and concepts the way we see things. If you're interested, sign this. Well, they signed it. And so when the Olympics came up on October the 26th, I had to meet behind the 3-meter board in a room to form this association. And we had about 80-some people show up for that, including the people behind the Iron Curtain who were scared to death because if they agreed with the people in the free world, they could be killed. They were really afraid to even think about it. So they came in, and I'm standing up there by myself trying to convince them that this is what we'd like to do. And I got Peter Huber from Austria, who I knew really well, with me. He got on me, and we talked for about an hour and a half discussing this thing, and all of a sudden he takes his fist and he goes, "Blam! God damn it, let's vote." They voted and it was unanimous. We set up a convention to meet, and we invited all the divers we could think of to come to that thing, and when we met, 133 coaches showed up from all over the world. Everyone that knew how to dive showed up at that meeting. And that was the beginning of vodka. We call it vodka, so it's the World Diving Coaches Association with a small O, and in Europe you know that the W is actually a V. So that was Grundy Vigard's idea from Norway to call it vodka. And that started, and it did. It changed everything in the world because all the coaches did get together, which resulted in all the meets we have today, because we knew each other. And now you have the Swedish Cup, and you have this, and you have that, But that was my greatest contribution. So I feel pretty good about that. You know, that was probably my greatest move I ever did in my life, and it was a dream.